1 penny of every dollar you spend in the state of Iowa is dedicated to updating school infrastructure. In 2008, the Iowa legislature enacted a law to collect a statewide penny tax and made sure school districts would let their citizens vote on how that money is spent. On September 8th, voters in Des Moines will be asked to approve how the school district plans to spend their money for school renovations. The measure is known as the Revenue Purpose Statement, and it's important for you to know what it means for the Des Moines Public Schools. So let's take a look at how this sales tax money would be used.
The Revenue Purpose Statement is a measure in which our residents of our city will be able to vote to direct us to use the entire collected revenue from the penny sales tax for the purpose of improving the infrastructure of the school district.
On July 1st, 2010, this statewide penny, approved by the Iowa legislature in 2008, will replace an already existing 1-cent local option sales tax that has been in Polk County since the year 2000. Thanks to this money over the last 10 years, the school district has been able to improve schools in all areas of the city, which are represented by the green dots on this map. However, there are still many schools that are in need of improvements, represented by the red dots shown here. The money generated from this statewide penny would be used to update these buildings. With successful passage, current estimates show Des Moines schools would receive $22.5 million in 2010. And if it would not pass, that number would drop to about $15 million. With so many buildings in need of upgrades, a group was formed to help identify and prioritize the needs of the district.
A committee was assembled of community members from throughout the city, Facilities Advisory Committee. They really poured over a lot of information, and after really examining carefully all of that material, they put together a recommendation that was then presented to me, which we in turn presented to our school board.
There was 12 of us, and they're all people that live in Des Moines. Some of them are former students, some of them are parents of students here in the schools now. We have grandparents, we have people that from all walks of life. We have the public sector, we have the private sector. We have one teacher. It was really a good group of people that came with one common goal. Nobody had any allegiances to any political things or allegiance to their school.
The committee met over the course of 8 months and developed a list of priorities for what needed to be addressed.
The priorities were based on, we start with safety and security for the children, so improving drop-offs and pickup sites and security systems, replacing old worn-out equipment, replacing things that would save us money like windows and doors and insulation, maybe lights and stuff. Improvements to the buildings that hadn't had improvements already. Technology, so IT stuff, so the computers worked faster and better. Air conditioning to the buildings that don't have it, or the areas of buildings that don't have it. Improvements for research-based stuff, like when they decided to do 9th grade at schools.
Using those priorities as a guide, the Facilities Advisory Committee developed the language for the Revenue Purpose Statement, and passage of this measure would provide funds to remodel, repair, expand, and improve buildings or grounds, accommodate emergency repairs, or respond to changes in demographics, purchase, lease, or lease purchase buildings or equipment to implement energy conservation measures, build and furnish new school buildings as needed, pay principal and interest or retire general obligation construction bonds, provide funds that may be used for purposes as now or hereafter permitted by law and designated by the district. So all that sounds nice, but what does that all really mean? What will be happening to the different school buildings that have not been improved in the last 10 years? DMPS Chief Operations Officer Bill Good explains.
The actual plan that we have put forward and we've reviewed with the board, it's called a 5-year plan with a 10-year vision. And very specifically in the first 5 years of the statewide penny, should the revenue purpose statements be approved by our voters, we have a list of schools that will be impacted. Actually, every school that has not had those major improvements through the current local option would be impacted. So that's a really big issue because we're going to be able to impact all of those schools in some way to create additional opportunities for students. And the 10-year vision, again, still just includes those schools and buildings that have not received major improvements. Even though it's some of those things that basic needs that we would see is air conditioning, the safety and security measures would be, we have a lot of congestion at many of our schools, so expanded and safer student drop-off pickup areas. We also have a number of temporary buildings that are separate from our main schools, and so students have to walk from the main building to the temporary buildings, and that can be a safety and security issue. The technology upgrades, we just need to increase speed and technology opportunities for our schools. There's a lot of different types of technology, video streaming, those kinds of things that we're not able to do at many of our non-renovated schools. So certainly technology would be something that would be very important. The windows and doors replaced. You have to have a tight building to maintain your potential for energy conservation, but that really comes with using some sustainable design and technologies to provide heating and air conditioning for students. With these improvements, we're going to be able to add air conditioning at a lesser operational cost than prior to the renovation.
The other thing that we would do is we would do multiple projects. So you would never shut down a school and do everything at one school and make the kids move and make people bus, and kids have to go to a school across town or a temporary school. We do them right in the school and do projects like we might have 6 or 7 buildings getting their windows done all at one time.
And even though this plan will continue to modernize our school buildings, it's important to note that not every need can be addressed right away.
We've done a facilities needs assessment, and our needs from that assessment came up to $680 million. There's no way that even with passage of the revenue purpose statement that we're going to be able to address all of our needs. That's where we're really concentrating on the basic needs of our school district. There's many things that we could do, but we're not going to be able to do. But the things that we do accomplish are going to be very noticeable and important to the learning environment for our classrooms.